Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the Tick Season 1, Episode 10. It's called Risky Bismuth. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. I love how it just sounds like you're saying risky business with a lisp. That's the title of this.
It does a bit, doesn't it?
Episode. Yeah, this of course is the name of the secret weapon, the actual thing that's hurting...
The kryptonite.
The kryptonite, yeah, that's hurting Superior, which the Doctor stumbled upon, and we get some grainy footage flashbacks that feel like it's in like the 1912 or whatever. Like it feels like it's from some absurdly old time and film was just invented. But yeah, so we get some of that stuff. Most of the Arthur and Tick stuff this episode was mainly talking to the Doctor and kind of like try to figure things out. They kind of realise what his plan is ultimately at the end, and that the big guy, what was the acronym they were using for?
VLM. Very large man, I believe.
Very large man, yes.
Because it took me a while. They kept saying VLM. I was like, what is VLM? And it wasn't until I saw it on the TV as the news headline that I was like, oh, very large man. I get it.
I think this is just the jump. I think that was mentioned in the first half.
I think it was,
yeah.
But I think it didn't click to me until I saw it there.
Yeah, I think that was just the jump between the two halves of the season. You've obviously forgotten that since the first jump.
It's been a while.
But basically, they find out the reason why he's enlarged is that they inserted the risky bismuth inside the guy, and then the Terror's plan was that because it sort of like lives on blood or whatever, it lives inside a living system. The plan was then to enlarge the person with his shrinking enlarging ray technology, and then there'd be more of it.
He'd have more of it. It's a pretty solid plan, I suppose.
And that's the plan. But the bigger thing though, because obviously the Tick's still going through his existential crisis. But obviously the big guy's heading towards the city. It's like he's been turned on, and now he's walking towards. He's basically going to be like a kaiju movie where he's coming towards the city to stomp on things. So that's happening. That's the big cliffhanger. But they find out the Tick is also hurting Superior, which suggests that his origin might actually be that he was created to hurt Superior.
It does. I'm intrigued as to whether the bismuth is in the suit or if it's inside of him. Like, is the suit made out of this material?
Yeah, it could be the suit, or it could just be him who's been genetically.
It could be,
made.
yeah. Just we know it lives inside people, like we've just established. So it could be in him.
I think it is in him because of that, actually, and also I feel like the whole. I mean, obviously he could just have the amnesia, but part of me feels like the reason why he has amnesia is because he doesn't actually have a past, and he's like new. He's fresh.
It's much more likely, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it feels like, especially with all the funny stuff in this one where he's still doing the whole robot thing, and Arthur's trying to get him to quit it. And then,
and speaking of things that we haven't seen in a while,
yeah,
we get the flashback to the first episode.
We did, yeah. Which I actually kind of like how that tied in. It was like, oh, that was going to kill Superior quicker, but you just happened to stumble into that. Oh, that was a nice touch. I kind of like.
I guess that's the problem with creating a weapon that has free will.
That's true. Maybe he even came from that stash.
Yes, it's it's a classic comic trope. Red Tornado springs to mind.
In fact, wasn't the first time we ever saw him there? It was when Arthur was taking the photographs. He was snooping, and the text
It might well have been, actually.
Snuck up behind him. I think that was the first time we saw him.
I'll be honest. That was well over a year ago at this point. So my memory is not exact.
I think it was though, which would maybe lead credence to the idea that he came from the stash. He came from these weapons. He was one of the weapons, and then he became sentient or whatever, and he is what he is. Which I think this is fascinating because it leads to this great thing where he'll think, oh, he's meant to be a villain, and then Arthur, but no, Tick, you can choose who you're meant to be. You can be a hero if that's who you want to be.
It'll really lay it on thick with this robot programming destiny idea. It'll really go in the choice versus programming, nature versus nurture almost.
Yeah. In fact, one of my favourite little, because obviously a Tick has a lot of funny lines like throughout. Just the way he reacts to things is very amusing.
Just being the Tick, yeah.
The one that really stuck out to me in this one though is when the scientist is explaining that the weapon stash was destroyed, and we're getting flashbacks to back then, and the Tick was saying that he's been making choices recently. He's like, it cut back to him after this. He's like, yeah, but you chose to interfere here. And he's like, it seems I've been making choices all over the place. I don't know, that line just cracked me up for whatever reason. It's not even that funny on its own. It's just Sarah Finowich's delivery of it.
I don't think anyone nails that on the first try.
Because you have to mess it up. You see where you went wrong. You go back and you do it properly.
Yeah, it's a mouthful of a name.
I I wonder if it took him, like, maybe up until his teens he was still messing it up, and then, you know, just enough time had passed, he'd said it so much that, okay,
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I'm used to it.
I'll be honest. Sometimes I mess up my own name. I have a pretty simple name.
My name is Connor. Connor.
See, that doesn't help because for a long time, people who I lived with called me Cone. Yeah, there was a whole long run story. Everyone, there was a reason. Not gonna get into that now. It's too long a story, but you know, so it may have slipped out once or twice while drunk.
Cone.
Yes.
Okay. Adding that to the find out list. Yes. Next time we're watching Arrow, I'll be asking that question. So that's that. I think that's interesting in terms of like, the Tick's character, in terms of like him having his hero moment. Which I mean, obviously, again, I feels like it's going to do exactly what we expected to in that regard, where he's going to choose to be a hero and he'll defy what he was made for, you know, and that'll be good. It should be a nice touching moment. So that's cool. Meanwhile, Dot's insistent in being a bit of a sleuth, and she's trying to get some intel. And she's like listening in, she's hearing things. She records some phone conversation with her phone. Takes the intel to Overkill, who is basically, that's it. That's all you've got. Shit. This is shit. Go away. It's a very, very tense scene actually, because he grabs her arm at one point and she's like, let my arm go. It's actually, for as silly as the show is, that moment felt very sort of authentic in how like awkward it was that she was upset that he'd grabbed her arm. And then she storms off. And
I did think it was a little weird given how last episode he wouldn't touch her.
Well, I think that was the point. I think he'd sort of done it on instinct, and then he realised when she asked, "Don't touch me," he sort of realised. I think that's what gave him more weight.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's intentional. I mean, well, it works for you or not is debatable, but and then of course Danger Boat with the one-liner. The only line from Danger Boat in the entire episode. Maybe that's a complaint that you could level against this episode, is that it's very light in the Danger Boat action.
I think that's something that, you know, it is noted.
It is noted. But so Dot goes off herself because she's heard that something's going down, and we find out from the other side that it's Miss Lint and the gang formerly known as the Pyramid Gang.
Oh God, this is Monty Python. What just happened?
But because they're even upset, they want a new name, and Miss Lint's
like, it doesn't bloody matter.
You don't need a name. It's like, no, we need an identity. What is our identity as a team? Like, you're the shithead gang.
I'll come up with some suggestions. I'll bring some to you.
Oh, so nice. So that's all good. Again, very amusing. But they're doing their thing. We don't really quite know. Well, we know what they're doing. They're triggering the big guy. They're triggering the VLM.
Yeah.
And they're there to install something in the radio tower. And Dot's there. She's snooping around. She's getting some information. But Overkill shows up. Turns out he lied to her. He was keeping her out of trouble. He just wanted to piss her off and send her off on her way. Yeah. And he even makes a point of apologising for grabbing her arm. Again, showing that he's kind of a thing there. He's kind of, I mean, you could argue that anyone would maybe apologise for that, but him especially.
I think this moment does play more as, hey, I probably shouldn't have grabbed your arm.
Yeah, but I think if you remember the last episode where he has a specific thing where he feels uncomfortable about crossing that line, it just adds a bit more to it. But he goes to confront Miss Lint. And he's ready for her. He's got grounding on his suit so that she can't affect him too much. But there's some humor here where she's like, "You brought a date," because the power goes off. So like, "You're not alone. You brought a date." And then even a bit before that, where she's like, "So I saw you and your girlfriend snooping around the graveyard. I set a trap. I meant for you to come."
He was invited here.
And then he just says something like, "You'd never get away with this. I'll stop you." It's like, well, you didn't correct me. She is your girlfriend? Because obviously we found out last time that there was a history between them, and she broke his heart. But she seems that she's maybe the jealous one potentially. But yeah, interesting. But no, so she's like, go and find her. So that's where we leave them. Dot's like in the building.
I did enjoy how predictable, where the power's off. And he's like, what are we gonna do now? Your plan's ruined. There's no power, and she just goes, I am the power.
Yeah, then she turns everything on.
Yeah.
The whole building
it was one of those
where
I knew exactly what it was going to do. I knew the line she was going to say, but still fun.
It made too much sense not to not do it though.
Exactly.
Or not do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, too many negatives.
Yeah, because it's like her power's electricity.
Yeah, of course that's what you do, and of course you have a say the cheesy line.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what
of
the show
course.
is. It's cheesy lines.
Yeah, so that's that. So I really feel like obviously there's one little bit I want to talk about as well to go back to, but I just want to say in terms of the main plot, in terms of the VLM coming towards the city, it really feels that we've built up to a big final two-parter that it's going to be the big
It
finale of the
it
season.
does, and almost to a slight detriment of this episode. This is one where I really felt the shorter length compared to like a 40-minute show, where I felt like
Um,
this was all the setup.
it was all
You
the
know,
setup, but
uh,
I kind of forgive that though in the sense that most people are going to binge this and really.
no, no, it's true, but I mean, we call it out on Netflix shows where a lot of people are going to binge those, so I think it's worth noting. And especially this felt more obvious than the others, where a lot of them have a really strong identity as an episode, whereas this
Oh,
one it had the flashbacks, but that's not as compelling.
most of them do, but I still think this is less guilty than most of those Netflix shows we call it on. I think it's far less of a problem here when your show's 25 minutes and you're
Yeah,
watching. Because keep in mind, it would get released in two halves. This was a 6 episode, 25-minute batch. Most people watched this in 3 hours and just
probably.
finished
Yeah,
it. Most
yeah,
people did
probably.
that. Most people who were
Uh,
excited about the tick watched it that way.
no, no, I agree. I'm still calling it out when I see it.
Um,
I think it's fair to point out because I think for me, watching this the way we do, I maybe enjoyed this the least out of the ones since we've come back. Even though I like everything that it's doing and I'm looking forward to going into the end, I like where it's left it off. I think as an individual episode, I got the least enjoyment.
um, it doesn't go below the line.
No, no, it's definitely
And
not bad. It's fine.
no, but what I mean by that though is that it doesn't go below the line where that registers as a problem for me. Because
Okay.
there's a point where it could be all set up and no fun, where I could just feel like, oh, I didn't get my fix out of this. Where I don't feel like it went below that line.
All right, fair. I think it maybe just about did for me.
Because when it comes to stuff where it's setting up with a tick and it's revealing like, oh, he might be this, and we're going to get these beats to play out soon because of this. To me, that gave me excitement, and to me, it was accomplishing things in and of itself. It was throwing some spice in the soup, if you
Yeah,
will.
okay. No, no, I get that. I think honestly, the flashbacks were just a little bit too heavy in terms of the percentage of the runtime.
Oh, that's fair. They probably could have trimmed them down. They probably took too much screen time.
Yeah.
Oh, but I didn't even mention the scientist is in a robot suit.
Oh yeah, he is, isn't he?
His big head sticking out of this armor.
Yeah.
And we had the joke, which was a very Arrested Development joke. I don't know. Did you ever watch Arrested Development?
No, not yet.
There was a running gag on it. Whenever they went to the hospital, there was a doctor who would always phrase things in the worst possible way. For example, there was an episode where the dad was in the hospital and they all come to see him, and the doctor comes out, to talk to them after surgery. And he opened with, "I'm afraid we've lost your father," and everyone got really upset. And then he went, "Seriously, we can't find him." So the window's open. We don't know where he's went, right? But there was that moment in this episode. That was the exact joke. Arthur comes into the office, Kevin's office, and he's like, "Oh, Doctor Kazmanov, or whatever his name is, Karamazov, has went to a better place, or he's in a better place." Was the exact line. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, and then he backs up. He's like, "Yes, I am in a much better place." He's in this robot body. That was the joke.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, no, that was fun.
and I saw it coming. Like when as soon as he said that, I knew there was going to be a joke. And it
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah. I was like, he's definitely not dead. He's playing
Yeah.
this with too much.
Oh,
Like,
that would
I
almost
just,
that'd almost be funny to me if they said that and I expected a joke and it was no, I just died off camera. Sorry.
that would be darkly humorous.
It'd be funny maybe if like again like if I was looking at Arrested Development where they set it up as a running joke and then one time eventually someone just did actually die.
Yeah.
That would actually be really funny. It'd have to be a running joke first and then you do it where they actually die.
I think you could get away with it this first time just because, like I say, we are expecting the joke. Like, that's
Yeah.
the expectation of the show because of the style of humor it has. So it might have worked, but if it does this 2 or 3 times and then does it,
Yeah.
okay, I respect it.
Then it'll be really funny. As long as it's not a character I care about, like being around.
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. The one thing I've left out is that the terror in the company, he's getting ready for his big grand debut so that the world will know he's around. And he's got the marketing department working on potential video packages, and they've got the storyboards out. And he's like, "Oh, you're going to be stepping out the shadows, and we're going to hear a cackle." He's like, "A cackle? I've been gone
That
for
was
15 years, and a cackle?"
It's not a bad impression.
Oh, thank you.
Uh,
Um,
I thought it was going to go a lot worse. Some of your impressions are atrocious.
Honestly,
that one
I
was
just
all
want to
right.
put on a voice so you know I'm doing the character, not me. As long as it's
Yeah,
distinct from my voice, I don't really care that much. But if I happen to get close, then I'll take the win.
that one was not bad.
Uh, and it's like it's and but this is actually a very funny scene
Well,
because
no, no, it's not even it's not even just it's laugh. It's a maniacal laugh.
maniacal laugh. Yes, a maniacal laugh. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
and
just summon one of those on command.
yeah, and it's like, what's going to cause that? And then, like, the woman who's also there with the storyboards just grabs something off the table and hits the other guy over the head.
That's it. He's like, yo, if you want a maniacal laugh, I've got to see something maniacally funny.
Yeah.
And she just smacks him.
Yeah, and then he goes like, that was a maniacal chuckle. I need more.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty funny. You know, the terror, I think on paper, if I hear that voice and I see the character, I probably wouldn't think it was going to be funny. But to the show's credit, there's been quite a few times where he's properly been really funny.
There is. It's always played up just enough, isn't it?
Yeah, especially with the where he sends a photo to Miss Lynn. She's about to go in and do the mission. Like the mission he set up, he wants this to happen, and she's about to do it. He's like, "I'm sending you a photo. Tell me if it's good." And she looks at it, and it's him and a pig. It's a selfie with him and a pig. And she's like, What am I looking at?" It's like, "Me and a pig."
And he's just like, "Do you like it?" She's like, "I'm doing the bloody mission." And he's like, "Yeah, well, do you like it?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's great, whatever." Clearly not giving a shit, which I assume means the payoff is going to be we're going to get a big TV spot with him with a pig.
Yeah, do you know what that'll be? I mean, assuming that the next episode ends with sort of a cliffhanger where it looks like the good guys are going to lose, it'll maybe end with the TV spot close to the end where it seems like he's in power, he's won behind the scenes, or our good guys might be getting beat, darkest moment, and we'll get the advert playing for the world, and we'll see him with the pig.
I really want to see someone's reaction to the pig being like, that's just stupid.
Honestly, now that they've set it up, I cannot, and we've seen some storyboards, I actually want to see the finished ad now.
I really hope we do. I'll be disappointed if we don't.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But there you go, that's the tick. Apologies, there was a bit of a gap between this and the last one. The weekend got really hectic with all the movie awards stuff that we were doing. Should be quicker now, getting these last couple out. Should be.
Yeah.
Should be. The plan is to record both tomorrow and then just sort of, have them go out one per day. If that does not happen, apologies in advance, because every time we promise something, we seem to...
Yeah, I feel like we should just stop saying these things, because if we don't say it, it typically goes okay.
Yeah. It's usually your fault, though, so I'm blaming you. And
that's fair.
So if it doesn't happen, it's Carl's fault. Direct your hate at him.
Do you know what? I'm not going to argue. It probably is my fault.
Honestly, I mean, the thing is, though, these tech reviews don't actually get a whole lot of attention on the channel, but we like the show enough that we're going to finish it regardless. So it's just not as necessarily something we have to force through as quickly as we maybe with other things, because it's not actually getting the traffic. But
yeah, I think the show in general is kind of underwatched. I don't see anyone really talking about it, which is a real shame.
It's a shame, yeah, because the show's really, really good. And we've already got season 2 greenlit, so
yeah, that doesn't mean I don't need to worry too much. It's safe for now. We can hype it up for next season. Go and watch it. Support this damn show.
Yep, no, I agree. But that is episode 10. We've got 2 more left, so we'll see you for what seems like it's going to be a big 2-part finale. It feels like this was setting up the big grand finale. So that is the episode. So let us know what you thought of this one. The comments, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. For what support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. There's a link to that in the description, but otherwise that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?